Everyone can't have access to you, not because you're better than them, not because you've become arrogant, but because access, that's expensive. And somewhere along the way, we started treating access like it's free. We give people our time before they've earned our trust. We give people our energy before they've shown consistency. We give people our vulnerability before they've even proven that they're safe. Then we wonder why we're exhausted, why we're constantly disappointed, constantly rebuilding after people leave destruction behind. We forgot something important. Just because someone can reach you doesn't mean they should have access to you. And if that statement makes you uncomfortable, good. Let's get into it. Most people think success is built through motivation. It's not. It's built through structure, through the decisions we make when nobody's watching, through the boundaries we honor, the standards that we maintain, and the discipline that we practice every single day. This is Shou Talks, a journey through the rooms that shape who we become. Come inside. Let's step into a room with me. Shou Talks is built around a simple concept. Your life is a house. Every belief, every habit, every relationship, every decision that lives somewhere inside this house. And every room matters. Over the past few episodes, we've been walking through the discipline wing of the house. Because discipline isn't punishment. I know that's how a lot of us were raised. But discipline is actually protection. It's structure. It's intentionality. Discipline is the framework that protects the life you're trying to build. We've already visited the boundaries room where we learned where the line is. We've already walked through the standards room where we defined what is acceptable. Today, we are stepping into the access room. And this room asks a very simple but extremely uncomfortable question. Who currently has access to your life that hasn't earned it? Because access is one of the most powerful forms of discipline you'll ever practice. Not everyone who can reach you should have the same level of access to you. And if you've ever felt drained, overwhelmed, distracted, or even pulled away from the life you're trying to build, this room might explain why. The access room is the place where you decide who gets proximity to you, who gets your time, your attention, your energy, your trust, who gets your vulnerability. What people often misunderstand is that access is not the same thing as love. You can love someone and reduce their access. You can care about someone and still limit their influence. You can forgive someone and still lock that door. Those things are not contradictions. their wisdom. Because discipline isn't just about controlling yourself, it's also about protecting what you've built. Every door in your life should not be unlocked. Some people belong in the living room. Some people belong on the front porch. Y'all, some people even belong outside the gate. The problem is that many of us keep handing out house keys to people who haven't even proven they can knock respectfully. I used to think being accessible made me a good person. If someone called, I answered. If someone needed something, I showed up. If someone had a crisis, I dropped whatever it is that I was doing. I wore availability like a badge of honor. But eventually I realized something. The people who benefited most from my unlimited access weren't necessarily the people who valued me the most. And that was a painful lesson to learn because I was giving premium access to people who treated it like a free trial. They expected it. They consumed it, relied on it, but they never respected it. And I started noticing that every time I gave too much access, I had less energy for the people who actually mattered, truly mattered. My family, my goals, my peace, myself. That's when I realized access is a responsibility, not an obligation. Something we need to accept is the fact that access is earned, not owed. One of the most damaging beliefs we carry is that history automatically earns access. It doesn't. Just because you've known someone for 10 plus years doesn't mean they deserve unlimited access. Just because someone is family doesn't mean they get unrestricted access. Just because someone used to be important doesn't mean they should remain important. Access should be based on current behavior, not past relationships. People earn access through consistency, respect, accountability, trustworthiness, not through entitlement. Access should determine influence. The people closest to you influence you the most. Their habits, attention, attitudes, expectations, fears, beliefs, their energy, and most importantly, their intention. All of it affects you, whether you realize it or not. That's why protecting access is so important because every person with unrestricted access has the ability to influence your thinking. If someone constantly brings drama, they influence your peace. If someone constantly doubts you, they influence your confidence. If someone constantly distracts you, guess what? They influence your focus. Who has access determines who has influence. And who has influence often determines your direction. A common misconception is that discipline sometimes looks like distance. Nobody likes talking about this part because distance, that feels uncomfortable. It feels guilty. It even feels selfish and mean. But sometimes discipline looks like creating space, not because you hate someone, not because you are angry, but because proximity is costing you way too much. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is reduce access until that relationship becomes healthy enough to handle more. Distance isn't always punishment. Sometimes it's protection. There was a season in my life where I felt completely drained. But for the life of me, I couldn't figure out why. I was doing the personal development. I was setting goals. I was writing things out, being organized because I was trying to move forward. But I still felt exhausted. And then I looked at who had access to me, the conversations I was having, the demands being placed on me, the people who can reach me at any hour, the people who expected immediate responses, the people who only appeared when they needed something. And I realized my exhaustion was not coming from my responsibilities. It was coming from the unrestricted access. I had the boundaries. I had the standards, but I hadn't adjusted access. The moment I started protecting my time, my attention, my energy differently, 180, everything changed. Not overnight, but noticeably, because peace grows where access is managed intentionally. I want you to sit with these questions. Who currently has access to your life that hasn't earned that level of access? Where are you giving people unlimited access while feeling resentful about it? What relationship would immediately improve if you adjusted the level of access instead of avoiding the conversation? And here's our favorite, the one question I need you to genuinely be honest with yourself about. Are you protecting your peace or are you protecting other people's comfort at the expense of your own? So, what does this look like in real life? Not answering every phone call immediately. It might mean limiting certain conversations. It might mean creating office hours for your availability. Being intentional about who gets updates about your life. Spending less time explaining yourself. Protecting your goals from the people who constantly discourage them. Even if it's family, even if it's a spouse. Small shifts, not dramatic ones, intentional ones. Because access isn't about building walls around your life. It's about building doors. And healthy doors open intentionally. They don't stay wide open for everybody. The goal isn't isolation. It's stewardship. Protecting what matters. Protecting who matters. Protecting yourself. As we walk out of the access room today, I want you to remember this. Not everyone deserves the same level of access to you. And that's okay. You are allowed to protect your energy, your peace. Guys, you're allowed to protect your future. Discipline is not just saying no. It's deciding who gets a yes. And every time you become more intentional about access, you're strengthening the house you're building. One door at a time, one relationship at a time, one decision at a time. If this episode spoke to you, Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment and let me know, what is one area of your life where you need to adjust the access? Make sure you're following Shou Talks so you don't miss out on the next room. Until next time, protect your peace, honor your growth, and keep building your health. I'll see you in the next room.